So with me, I really do enjoy painting cars, but something that I enjoy even more is messing around with a couple of different techniques and styles. For example, I did a lowrider inspired paint job on the roof of a LS Swap Miata. So today in this video, I'm going to go over with you exactly how I do a two-tone paint job.
And now, you're watching the #1 in crazy projects, quality paint jobs, and enormous D's.
These nuts. Got him!
Channel of YouTube. Welcome to Bodie Vision.
Hey, so what is up and welcome. Thank you so much for joining me on yet another video. So this car, what we have right here, as you're looking at it, it's to the point that you've seen it in so many other videos, or it's just been a normal paint job up until this point. We went ahead and I did all the body work. I primed all the filler that was on the car, sanded that down. Everything got finished off with a 600 grit sanding, or that's what the finish is right now. So we have this. Now the first thing that I want to decide, or the first thing that we want to focus on, is where is my transition going to take place for that two-tone paint job. And it's only going to be in this area. See, the entire roof, the entire hood, and then the top part of the trunk, that's all going to be that second color. And those two colors are going to be white on the bottom, purple on the top, and that's just what the owner requested, so that's what I'm happy to do. So the entire hood's going to be purple. We don't need to worry about it. The entire roof is also going to be purple. We don't need to worry about it. So we're going to go white on the bottom half, purple on the top half. So the first thing that I want to do is I want to focus on finishing the white completely. Now you might be questioning, why are we doing that? But the answer is because if I do white base coat and then I do purple base coat, we have the risk of a little bit of purple getting on the white, a little bit of white getting on the purple. Then if you kind of want to step back a little bit and sand some down, you can't sand it because it's just the base coat. So we want to go ahead and do all of the white. So I'm going to do the white sealer, the white base coat, and then I'm going to do a pearl coat, and then I'm going to do clear coat on top of that. Once that's completely finished, we're going to go ahead and flow coat it, so sand that down, and we'll get into more of those steps when we get there. Let's just actually get started, and then you'll see the steps, talk about the steps, and it'll make a little bit more sense. The main thing is, with a two-tone paint job, you got to keep in mind all your layers that you're going to have and what you want in the end. Now that we have the sealer down, the sealer's gonna do, it's actually gonna do a couple of different things. Number one, it makes a nice consistent surface, so I'm not gonna have to use as much base coat. And also what the sealer does, believe it or not, it's a little bit of a cushion between whatever was there before and then your new base coat. The sealer has a little bit more leeway to it, and it's gonna prevent you from getting as many rock chips and stuff like that. Now granted, you could still get rock chips, but the sealer is just a little layer of protection, and it helps you save on the actual base coat. And the base coat is where you're gonna be spending a lot of money. So I'd always recommend doing a sealer, and also it seals everything in there for the last time. So I like using sealers, and you can do whatever you want. Now earlier I was talking about layers. So what we have is the first layer is sealer. Now we have 2 coats of base on top of that, so that's another layer stacked up. Now before the clear coat, we're gonna put pearl in the middle of that. So I have the pearl mixed right here, and this is just a violet pearl, technically purple, violet, pearl. So that's going to be the next layer, and then we're going to seal off the entire thing with clear coat. And the reason why we want that is so that way once we lay our line for our two-tone, we're going to lay that on a nice, good, clean, solid, cleared foundation. So let's do the pearl and then the clear coat, and then we'll worry about masking off where we want to set up our line at. That violet pearl laid down really nice and smooth, and as you can see, you could just barely see it kind of sheen off the edges, and that's what you want it to look like. You don't want it to be overwhelming. You want it to have a nice little like an extra look. Overkill is not what we're going for. So that's gonna be really good. So now talking about layers again, the final layer on right here is gonna be 2 coats of clear. Alright, so it is the next day now, and the clear actually did lay down really nicely, but you can't tell because as soon as I got here this morning, I went ahead and wet sanded the entire thing. Right now you're looking at a 600 grit finish, and I like a 600 because it's going to cut through really nicely. It's not going to take as long as a 800 or 1000, and also 600 gives you a little bit of grip for that paint and that clear to land on. So the next step is we got to go ahead and figure out where I'm gonna make this line for the two-tone paint job. Now a body like this, the 2013 Charger, I don't know the exact generation, but this is a little bit challenging because the body lines don't exactly reflect what you would want the body lines to look like on a car that has a two-tone paint job. A lot of the two-tone paint job cars have a line that start right here and it's carried all the way through from front to back, and that's just the line that you go towards when you're doing the two-tone paint job. So what I'm thinking for this one is I want to utilize these lines back here and come to about this way, and then instead of going down with it, I want to continue all the way over here, kind of catch this body line somewhere in here to eventually point towards the bumper somewhere like this and there, so that way the bumper is split, the bumper is two-tone, and that'll match the car nicely. And this, I think the best thing to do is just start laying out tape, see what you like, see what you don't like, make adjustments, figure out what you want first, and then tune it in, as opposed to trying to tune in something that you might not want. Alright, so as you can see, we got our line, and what I went ahead and I did is I masked off the car like we're going to be doing the whole car, because the entire car is going to get clear, but the entire car isn't going to get purple. We're only going to go with purple, obviously, down to that line. So what we're going to do and what the steps are, we're going to go sealer on the top. The side doesn't need sealer because it already got sealed in. That's a nice foundation. So purple's going to go over everything right up to this line. Once we're done with the purple base coat, we're going to go ahead and pull off the tape and then do all of the clear coat. So some of this car is getting flow coated or getting a flow coat. Anything that was white is going to get 4 coats of clear total. Anything that's purple is going to get 2 coats of clear total, or maybe 3. We'll see how it goes at the time when it gets there. So this is how it looks. Lots of time, lots of work to get it to this point, and it really doesn't even look like we spent all day yesterday painting, but we did. This is where we're at. This is what we got going on. So let's go ahead and get ready to lay down that purple. Base coat done, all the tape came off, and now it's going to get completely clear coated all the way over everything. And the reason why we wanted to do that again earlier, because this line, I don't know if we'd be able to make the line that clean. And also, as we were doing it, you saw how good it was masked off. there was a little bit of purple that did get under there. Now that wasn't any big deal. I just took some lacquer thin on a rag, wiped it off really quickly because it's on that clear coat. If that would have been on white base coat, I would have been worried about breaking through the base coat down to the primer, and it would have just been a huge mess. So that's why we do all the layers the way that we did, so that way we can make it come out the way that it's coming out. So the last thing is clear on the entire car. And also don't forget, we did that pearl layer, which you can't see at all, but as soon as the clear coat hits it, we're gonna see everything come together. God dang, dude, this car looks good, phenomenal. I could not be more excited with the results. Nice, clean, solid job. And honestly, when I'm going throughout this entire video, I'm explaining to you how I do a two-tone paint job as if I've done 100 of them. This is the first large scale, or the first full car. I've done stuff on rear lips and front bumpers and different stuff along those lines, and that's kind of how I applied it to this. And also huge shout out to Brian from Paint Society. We were supposed to get together on this project, but just some things didn't line up, and he'll be down here real soon, or he'll be up here real soon to shoot some stuff. So be looking forward to that. Also, I wanted to mention, when I did the purple, I went ahead and I did 2.5 coats, meaning I did the first coat, which was a real light coat. Didn't look that good after the first coat, but that's just how it goes. Then as I did that second coat, I went ahead and I did a panel, the entire panel, and then I took a step back and I did a half coat, or a orientation coat. That's how I get it nice and consistent with all my pearls, and I'm not getting any kind of stripes or anything along those lines. And I think that it looks really good. So overall, thank you guys so much for watching. Like this video, comment, subscribe, do all the stuff. You know what it is, YouTube. Full car will be on the next video. I'll see you on the next video. I'm out.